Hello and welcome, I am Zombie Kitty and welcome to another reaction video. So, about 4 months ago I reacted to a Saw fan film called Saw Heritage. This was originally uploaded onto YouTube in 2016, but I only discovered it a few months back. And I thought that while it had, a few sound mixing issues, I actually thought it really did something interesting with the Saw franchise. It gave the possibility that actually there was a cult of Jigsaw, of people who were following in his footsteps and doing the same thing as him. And this was something I wanted. I think it was 2017 that Jigsaw came out, which was the one before Spiral. And that kind of started to go into that direction and then completely forgot about it, which I was kind of disappointed by. But I really thought that Saw Heritage actually filled that gap in what I wanted from Jigsaw. So, this is the sequel to Saw Heritage. So, the writer and creator of Saw Heritage, Christos Arfanis, I apologise if I pronounced any of that wrong. I will put his Twitter in the description below. But he wrote and created Saw Heritage a few years ago. He messaged me on Twitter a couple of weeks ago basically saying, "We've done a sequel. This is part of the Saw fan film universe." And other fan films from other creators will be going into this universe as well. So, this video that I'm going to be reacting to is called He Helped Me. So what we need to know firstly, there's going to be a Saw fan film universe, which is something I've never heard of before, but that's so exciting. He did give me a copy of the timeline of events, which I'll put up in a minute, and then we can talk about that. But also, this is the longest fan film I've ever known. This is nearly 50 minutes long. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. It might be quite long. But yeah, like, when I saw how long it was, I was like, wait, hang on a minute. This is like the longest fan film I've ever known, which is kind of amazing. And the fact that they've put so much work into this to make it this long of a film, yeah, that's amazing. So, let's have a look at the screenshot that Christos sent me. This is the timeline. So the first one is Saw Heritage, which was 2016. The Jigsaw blogs, which I think was from another creator, was last year. Rehabilitation, I can't speak today, was also last year. These two fan films, I am probably going to react to as well, but it will have to be next year now, unfortunately, just because I've got my schedule already sorted out. So, but I am thinking of reacting to them as well. The next one is He Helped Me, which we're about to watch. The next one after that, I can't see what that says. I think it says Endure, which will be next year. And then there's a few gaps in the timeline, so I'm guessing this is going to be a continued thing, which is really, really exciting. I love the Saw franchise, as I've said before, so any sort of fan films or anything like that is always good in my books and something to look forward to. The other thing I just very quickly want to say is that he did message me a couple weeks ago. I was supposed to film it a couple weeks ago. However, I've been way too busy with other things outside of YouTube, as well as I had a really horrific cold. So I haven't really had the time to actually sit down and watch this, unfortunately, until now. So I do apologise that it's taken so long for me to get round to this. Unfortunately, other things came up. But yeah, I've been rambling. This might be a really long video. Let's go. Disclaimer. This production is the effort of Red Light Independent Films. It is in no way affiliated with or representative of Lionsgate. Okay, so basically, it's fan film. I am reacting to the whole thing, by the way. because I did ask whether the following feature contains adult content is designed for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, so I did ask whether he wanted reaction highlights or me to do the whole thing, and I said, I asked that, and Christos said, actually, well, I'm guessing you're going to watch the whole thing anyway, and I was like, yeah, fair enough. I'm going to be watching the whole thing anyway, so I might as well do a video on the whole film. So, but I did debate on doing the whole thing or just reaction highlights. Also, yeah, fan film with original score. Another thing that's really unheard of. I like how the credits are the same as a Saw film as well. Hey, here we go again. Hi, Amanda.
Held me.
I like that. That the text is all like shattered. That's cool. Oh wow! In 2006, after the death of John Kramer, the infamous Jigsaw killer, his message about appreciating life has spread to the rest of the world. See, this is what I was hoping that it would go into. As of 2018, there has been numerous reports of games being discovered. Games reminiscent of John Kramer's work. Yeah, this is what I was hoping it would do. Today, 4 survivors have come forward, recalling events leading up to and including their experience from these morbid games. It is still unknown whether they were tested by John Kramer or someone else. As a fan. Yeah, as a fan of John Kramer, maybe copied or something. Dr. Alexander Stolberg. Ah, Stolberg!
It's just a few months after his test by John
This is a home
Kramer,
recording interview
the
of Dr.
infamous
from
Jigsaw
2005. It has recently
Please
been made
tell us
available
your
to the
name
general
and
public.
a few things about you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Alexander Stolberg. I work at Angel Mercy Hospital. Me and my patient Raymond were tested by what the media calls a monster. But personally to me, I think he's a glorified genius. I am talking about the Jigsaw Killer.
Why do you think Jigsaw chose you, Alexander, to be a part of his game?
Your guess is as good as mine, man. From what I've read on blogs, the newspaper, and from cases that I've seen that have landed in the hospital, usually the people with the background that have usually been tested are drug addicts and suicidal freaks. Now, I personally never used drugs in my life, which I am happy for. I hope that stays that way, but I'll cut to the chase. I'm a horrible person.
I was going to say, what did you do?
I have betrayed so many people when they helped me. Each time they've done a favor for me for my own benefit, I just drop them under a bus. And I just watch them try to run after getting run over. Like they're just magical super Olympic runners.
What was the premise of your test?
My test, if
Where is
you
this interview,
will,
by the way?
It involved me having a task to save 5 people that I have fucked over in the past. And if I saved them, I'd lose a piece of myself. As Jigsaw said to me, an eye for an eye. I remember I woke up in this insane asylum. And I'm a doctor, but I was not familiar with this place at all. And I just remember once I got out, I didn't care where exactly I was. I was just happy to even breathe fresh air after leaving this place.
From the looks of it, I can only see that your right eye is missing. So you only saved one person?
I saved 2 people that night, and as a result,
I was gonna say,
it
his
gave
fingers.
me physical scarring to my body and soul. One caused me my eye, and one caused
He's
me
got
my
fingers,
right finger.
bandage on his fingers. Yeah, I was
The
gonna
2 people
say.
I saved were my nurse, Jake. He covered me multiple times from the hospital and protected me and covered my back on several occasions. And I have utmost respect and still did him dirty. Another one that I saved was the love of my life, Rachel. You know, she recently gave birth
Very
to a girl
reminiscent
recently.
of
Maybe
Dr. Lawrence Gordon.
9 months before my experience. My baby girl's not gonna see me as a normal guy anymore.
Yeah, that's on you though. Like,
How I saved my wife was I saw her hanging from a platform and I had to put my hand in this box and I had to press down on a button. What I didn't know when I pressed down that button is that it was a metal like piece sliding down, and
oh, that's a
just
really
great.
nice shot.
Love hurts at the end of the day. I guess I found out too late. Of course.
You must know that more and more survivors are coming out of basically hiding, telling us that Jigsaw helped them. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, definitely. I wasted so much of my
The
life. I used to
the
be so
interviewer's
ungrateful,
voice doesn't sound
and
like
I
he's
didn't
in the same
realize
room.
until it was too late. Would the world sleep better knowing that I did not survive and I would have been rolling in my grave? Absolutely. The world would have moved on. Life goes on. But I had to sacrifice parts of myself to get redemption. Now I see that as another way to keep on living. You know?
What do you think of John Kramer?
John Jigsaw, the boogeyman, whatever you want to call him, he should have gotten help faster than he should have. I worked at the hospital with Dr. Gordon, his oncologist, and Dr. Lynn Denman.
Hey!
John underwent chemotherapy and he had an inoperable brain tumor. But the problem is, nobody reacted fast enough. So his condition deteriorated to the point where chemo
Are they gonna
was
add
not
in that
working,
Logan
and whatever we
swapped them
prescribed him,
around?
he was pretty much on death row immediately. But his ideology, if you really think about it, everybody is a puzzle piece. Like we try to find a purpose in our world, and we're to a bigger game of his. Each person is like, it's unique and an individual. We all fit into a different puzzle. It's crazy to think. Like, it sounds dumb, but if you go through what I did, you would agree with me. I gotta go. Listen, this
I was
interview's
gonna say,
over,
why is
man,
that?
alright?
Why is that subtitled? What happened? After the traumatic experience, Dr. Alexander Stillberg decided to spend more time with what mattered to him the most, his family. So today, Dr. Stillberg continues studying as a physical therapy practitioner. Catherine Collins. On June 13th, 2017, Catherine was kidnapped in broad daylight. She was then tested by an unknown assailant. Sorry, I said that wrong. A Jigsaw copycat. Okay, so the last one, it was unknown whether he was being tested by Jigsaw or not.
When she was around
But this is
5
definitely a
years old.
copycat.
Her life didn't get any better after that. When Catherine was 10, she was taken from her mother and put into a foster home. She never ended up getting adopted. Catherine left the foster home when she was 18.
I do really like
Well,
this
that's
sort of
just not what it
documentary
used to be.
style
Leaving my mom.
environment that they've taken on.
Who just stays to remember everything.
When Catherine was 22, she quickly became addicted to drugs. She went to rehab multiple times.
Going to a rehab is a good experience, but it never really helped my drug addiction.
Soon after her rehab visits, she came into contact with the Jigsaw Killer.
I remember leaving the building, going to my car. And I was knocked out cold from whatever sleeping drug Jigsaw Killer was using. I woke up in a house, like an old house. It was a house that I grew up in.
Catherine's father was never really around. Neither was any of her family.
Waking up in that house made my heart ache. There was a tape.
I apologise if I'm suddenly staying quiet. I can't really hear what she's saying, to be honest.
And it was him, the Jigsaw Killer's voice. He said that I ruined my life, wasting it all on drugs. He told me that reliving memories could be good, but it could also ruin my life.
Yeah, the music's a bit too loud. I can't hear what she's saying, so I do apologise.
And the only way to keep myself from inhaling it was to tell my mom how much she meant to me. I said, "Mom, I love you more than anything. I know you have no control over your addiction, and I don't blame you for giving me up to the foster home." After I said that, a secret compartment opened, revealing a certain antidote. The cops showed up about 20 minutes later.
Catherine's lungs are damaged from the toxic gas from her old house. Jigsaw's gas was identified as a non-lethal gas. Catherine currently has to use an inhaler to keep her lungs healthy.
I can't run too much because then my lungs start to hurt. But I've been drug-free for 7 months now. I visit my mom's grave every month, thanking her for doing her best in caring for me. Jigsaw taught me to be grateful. My mom did what she could, and Jigsaw showed me that. I wish she was still here with me today. Jigsaw's message still runs through my head every day. I guess you could say he helped me.
As of 2018, Catherine has volunteered for various drug rehabilitation clinics in the United States. Cool. Catherine visits her mother's grave almost monthly to pay her respects. Her mum did the best she could. It's interesting that he said the Jigsaw gas was non-lethal, but the one in the old house wasn't. While some survivors feel changed by their experience, others feel more reluctant towards towards John's philosophy. Upon hearing about this documentary, Joel, a survivor of a game designed by John, decided to send in his input regarding his test. Joel was hesitant enough to leave his last name out of this documentary for personal reasons. In 2005, Joel was kidnapped by Amanda Young. Ooh! One of John Kramer's proteges.
Fuck. Okay. How am I gonna...
So he's going to be more hesitant.
Alright. My name is Joel. You don't need to worry about my last name. I'm a Jigsaw survivor. What, did you think I'd have some kind of trophy for this? Hell no. All I got was 6 months in the ICU, 2 years of physical therapy with 2 fucked up legs. I lost my ability to walk. This motherfucker right here, John Kramer.
I want to play a game.
The Jigsaw Killer. That's right. I survived this game. When I first
You don't
watched
seem
this
very
video
happy.
documentary, I didn't realize people were out there actually thanking him for what happened to them. What do you think I'm gonna do? That's what I think of Jigsaw. Fuck him. He doesn't teach anybody anything. He tortures people. He's a piece of shit, and I'm glad he's dead. Fuck him. Fuck his games. Fuck him. Alright.
Okay,
Hold
calm
on.
down.
Wait, before I fucking lose it. You want to hear a story, right? How did I survive his game? I mean,
That's
what
why
I'm
we
here
came here.
for. And they're paying
Yeah,
me some
exactly.
shit, I'll tell you. But let me just say right off the bat, the game that I was in was no cakewalk, literally. So I first encountered Johnny years ago. It happened by chance, really. Funny how that shit happens. Anyway, fun little fact about me, I was a fucking thief for years. That's right, I stole shit. Money, jewelry, a car here, a car there, but I had one particularly nasty habit. I stole drugs off people. And I'm not talking about weed or coke, I'm talking about pills. Turns out the pharmaceutical industry can be very lucrative for a thief. High-priced pharmaceuticals can earn you some really good money. So yeah, I stole that shit. Sold it on the streets. Easy money. So that day, I was at a pharmacy.
And that's how you ended up.
Job. I usually
Okay.
hung out around closing time when the last few orders were being filled. Some days was
He's a little too quick for his delivery.
That day was turning out to be an OxyContin kind of day. As I
Okay.
listened to the pharmacist talk to this old woman about her dosing, I realized that, yeah, that's a drug that I can sell. So I wait till she leaves the store, follow her to her car, and jump her as she tries to get in.
Yeah, sounds like he didn't want to admit that.
It wasn't clean work, I get it. It was fucked up. But that's what I did for money back then. So I grabbed her purse, and she hit the ground. Hard. I hadn't realized how hard until I saw her eyes roll to the back of her head. I just froze, man. I didn't want to hurt her like that. I just wanted her shit. I'm still staring at her when this old dude comes rushing up from behind me. I step out of the way and clock him. He hits the ground. Our eyes meet momentarily before I go rushing down the alleyway, clutching that purse like it's the Holy Grail. I find out later that night the old woman was rushed to the hospital with blunt head trauma. They said it was a miracle that she survived. The dude who came to her rescue, he was there picking up his meds. He stayed with her till the police and paramedics arrived.
I get he's trying to speak in a hushed voice, but you need to turn the volume up
6
a
or 7
bit.
months pass. I'm still doing my thing, but it all comes to an end with the cops banging on my door and me being literally in cuffs. I got 3
Yeah,
years
well.
to state for theft and selling of narcotics. I probably should have gotten more. That
I was gonna
and
say,
I got out
also
in a year.
assault.
Good behavior, I guess. Damn the old
Shouldn't you be prison for more?
So, I adjust back to normal life. I pick up a hustle here, a hustle there, but nothing like what I was doing before. I mean, that old woman kept popping in my head, you know? That, and I didn't want to go back to jail either.
I mean,
So
fair
one
enough.
night, I'm at this bar drinking, getting close with
Some of
this
these
chick,
shots are really nice.
Amy, Mandy, or some shit. I can't remember her name at this point, but we're getting pretty close. And it turned out that she liked to party the way that I did. So we snuck out the back door.
What? Hang on, sorry. How big was that ice cube? Sorry.
As I tried to get in, I got knocked the fuck out. I come to in this factory. My arms are outstretched. They're chained to these machines. I look down. My legs are free, but in front of them are these 2 bear traps. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I start screaming for help, and that's when this figure steps out of the darkness and into the light. And I really start freaking the fuck out, man, because it's wearing this long black robe and this oversized pig mask, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
walking right towards me. It's holding this tape player in its gloved hand, and before I can ask who the fuck it was, it
Played
hit
the
play,
tape? Played the tape?
and I heard my name. Hello, Joel. I'd like to play a game. I'm gonna spare you the details. All I knew was I was pretty fucked.
His bro dude attitude is
Everything
gone.
that I'd ever done
Which I quite
was on
like.
that recording. According to the pig in the voice, I was a piece of shit, and I was about to get tested. I thought I was gonna die, but instead, I was given a choice. For years, you have damaged the lives of others, taken advantage of those most vulnerable, unable, even for a day, to walk in their shoes and teach yourself true empathy. Now you have that chance. You still fucking remember the words. You have lived a life unworthy of the mobility that you now possess. Today, you must decide which set of limbs are most precious to you. How much damage your body can afford. The choice is yours.
So what did he lose?
I had 2 of these in front of me. Bastard
I don't know
would
what you just said.
voluntarily put my legs in, one right after the other. If I didn't do this within 30 seconds, the machines that were chained to my arms would rip them out of their sockets.
So are you in a wheelchair or something then?
I'm not gonna lie, I started begging like a little bitch. I didn't want to do what they're asking me to do. Nobody would. But
So if
the
you
kid just
survived,
kinda
you're in a
walked over the
wheelchair,
control
right?
panel, flipped the switch, and the machines came to life. I glanced at a clock sitting at a rotted desk near it, and I realized that if I didn't do something, I wasn't gonna make it.
Also, I changed the earbuds because I realised this one's actually louder.
So do you wanna know what I did? I stared
He's
that
in a
pig
wheelchair.
right in its eyes, and I shoved one of my legs into one of those bear traps. I heard a snap, and immediately my leg felt like it was on fire. I only had moments.
Yeah, I bet.
Trying not to puke, I shoved my other leg into the other bear trap. At this
Yeah,
point, both of
that's
my
gonna
legs
be
were nearly
painful.
cut off. I started losing consciousness, but the last thing I remember was the chains loosening from my arms before the other machine spun right around. I wake up in the hospital about a month later. I was put in a medically induced coma. I was alive, but I was never going to walk again. The doctors were amazed that I survived given the amount of blood that I had lost. Even more amazing.
So
was
John
that
must have
after
taken
I
him to
did-
the hospital then.
According to the police, somebody tipped them off. As fucked up as it sounds, Kramer wanted me to be found. Still don't get it. So yeah, that's my fucked up survivor story. So did I learn some kind of lesson from Jigsaw? I'd be lying.
He wanted you to be found because you survived.
I've done some pretty horrible things in my life. I've made
So-
some really bad decisions. But what he did was evil. If you say that you want to help people, you don't kill them. If you believe you're saving them, you sure as hell don't tear them to pieces.
I mean, he has a
did,
point.
Jigsaw help me? No. The law did. Rehab did. As far as I'm concerned, Jigsaw is not the messiah that his fans make him out to be. He's exactly what the media says he is. A sick murderer. So yeah, my name is John. And I'm a Jigsaw survivor. And no, he didn't help me. I hope he burns in hell.
I mean, fair enough. Upon the release of this documentary, Joel has not responded to any of the producers. Probably doesn't want to. The reason as to why remains unknown, because he probably doesn't want to be honest. So I gave you my story. In 2017, Michael Price, a private investigator from the newly reopened Jigsaw case, was kidnapped. The following video was submitted by Michael himself, as he has no intention of being asked any of the following questions in person. Michael has not been seen since the documentary was completed. Okay. So what happened to you? Oh, hello.
My name is Michael Price, and I'm a Jigsaw
Okay.
survivor. Yeah, I'm one of the survivors. I'm one of the lucky ones that got to keep breathing after being tested in one of his sadistic games. The strange thing is, I wasn't even tested by John Kramer himself, or even one of his well-known apprentices carrying out his legacy. I was
Copycat?
tested by someone else.
I was going to say,
I know it's a
copycat.
little bit confusing, so let me backtrack real quick and kind of give you a little insight on
Yeah, like
just
first
who the heck I am.
person. Sorry, second person. Who is Michael Price?
I work for the police department.
Oh, this
as a
is
case
new.
consultant. I'm a private investigator.
Oh.
And I offer my services to police on a regular basis. It's a good career, and it gives me a chance to actually help people. I specialize in missing person cases, and it's not that sleazy stuff like spying on a cheating spouse or something like that.
So why was he kidnapped then? Michael's involvement with the
About a year
Jigsaw
ago, I got a call
case.
from someone at the PD. This grizzled cop named Holland.
Yay!
And by that,
He was as tough as nails detective who was just as shady as the people that he was after. Turns out he's working
So
on
did
this
you
development
find him
case.
after you went
I
Octopus
was
Head?
shocked when he told me what's going on. We're thinking it's a copycat, but looks like Jigsaw's back from the dead, he said. I froze. John Kramer? The infamous Jigsaw killer? But he had been dead for a decade. And the last I heard, his apprentices were either dead or missing. Everybody knew Amanda Young was dead, and that monster Hoffman was probably rotting for all we knew. Yet Holloran was telling me that bodies were turning up, victims of a new deadly game.
So Jigsaw is going to be counted as canon in this. Okay. The
He gave me a
case.
few other details. One, that John Kramer's body had mysteriously vanished, replaced with the body of Edgar Munson. It was all too
Yep,
bizarre.
I remember this.
I knew that there was no way that Jigsaw, the real Jigsaw, was alive. His body was found by investigators, so it had to be a copycat. I tried to prod more information out of Detective Holloran, but he cut me off. Listen, Michael, just shut up for a minute. Nobody knows you're in on this thing. It's supposed to be hush-hush shit. I'm in charge of this one, and I'm working with a set of people exclusively. But I need someone on the outside. Something isn't adding up. I need you to follow someone for me. It's this guy named the Call Drop. Just like that. And that was the last I ever heard from him. It didn't take
I
long
do
for
like
me to
the-
see the news reports of the Jigsaw killer's return.
Yeah.
The press
I
were
do
all
like
over this
that
thing
the fan film is
I went to
kind
go to
of
the safe
adding
house
on
and
to
Holloran and see
canon.
who he wanted me to follow, but
I
Holloran
think
was
that's
on
cool.
MIA. But things got even weirder.
Yeah, he
The
died.
next few days was a circus, to say the least. From what was released by the police, Holloran, the cop in charge of bringing in John Kramer's ghost, was actually the copycat. They found all sorts of incriminating evidence suggesting he was the one pulling the
Oh,
strings
yeah,
behind
this.
the new game. They even found skin samples cut into the shape of jigsaw pieces in his freezer. Man, it was messed up.
Oh, yeah.
But he was nowhere to be found. The police
Yeah,
were
this
now on
is the
hunt
end
for
of Jigsaw
But
that he's
I already
talking
knew
about.
something was up. Look, Holliver was a cop that bent the law so much it might snap. But a sadistic murderer? So why reach out to me? To have a twisted game of cat and mouse with him? What was his motive with having me involved? Whatever was going on, I was now on the case. But nobody knew. Or so I thought. After trying to track down Holliran on my own for a few weeks, and while the police were trying to piece together the modus operandi of their new jigsaw killer,
Ooh, did you
my
find
house was
him?
broken into. I was terrified. Was it Holliran?
Oh, this
He would
is
have been
why
the
you were
only one who knew
taken.
that I thought something was up. But then again,
Yeah.
off the record at that. While trying to put my place back together, I get jumped. I
Yeah,
barely
so
had a
definitely
chance to
spoilers for
react before I
Jigsaw.
get slammed into the wall and I feel something get injected into my neck.
Yeah, that was
Wasn't long
Logan
after
who
that
took
that
you,
I
wasn't
passed
it? The game.
I woke up
I
to
don't
the
know why
sound of
this
sobbing
section's
behind me.
subtitled compared to everything
I raised
else.
my head, which took a great deal of effort. As I opened my eyes, I saw that my head was encased in some bird-like contraption, with spikes needling precariously close to my head.
Oh,
Starting to
Venus
panic, I stood
flytrap.
up, and I felt something unhook from the back of the apparatus on my head. I spin around and see this woman on the floor with the
Yep.
same apparatus on her head. Although hers is a crude box-like design with knives crisscrossing her face. I approach her, and I see that there's a
Oh,
cord
that's cool, they
connecting
brought
our
it back, though.
devices together, trailing to a small metal box on our left.
Okay.
She's bawling her eyes out, but she's still sitting down. She must have noticed something that I unfortunately did not, because now she's yelling at me. No. Oh God, you idiot. You just started it. I didn't fully understand.
Yeah,
what
it's
she
like the
meant until I
timer
heard
without
a loud
realising.
buzzing and a voice crackle overhead. Hello, Michael. Hello, Natalie. I want to play a game.
Went to play a game. I don't know why this bit's titled compared to the other survivors. The next recording was found at the scene where the game took place. Although the dialogue is very similar to John Kramer's voice, forensic voice analysis, I didn't get that. This confirms that the game's traps and kidnappings were done by someone else.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Natalie. I want to play a game.
Yeah, it is different.
The rules are simple. And the game.
I really like that they're doing like,
One of you
it's like a crime investigation documentary, and I really think that's really cool.
Fate has brought you both here for one purpose, to allow the truth to set you free. The device attached to your heads is connected to a timer of 3 minutes. When the clock hits 0, the device will become pressurized and fire a pin into your brain, piercing your skull completely and ending your just and unjust existences for good. To avoid this scenario, one of you must allow yourself to be disfigured enough to save both yourself and your cellmate. There is a lever on the side of the device that must be cranked manually. Natalie, you must turn the lever and allow yourself to be scarred, just like those whose lives have been ruined by your ugly, deceptive ways, or else you and Michael will never see the outside of this room again. Will you choose to save a life at the expense of your own? Make your choice.
It's nice that the knife chair is back though.
Made available on the dark web on Jigsaw rules. Whether they were doctored or not, it made no difference. It sounded like John Kramer. As I listened to him speak, the woman seemed to quiet down as well. He was telling us the rules. Jesus Christ. We were in one of his traps. No sooner than the message had concluded that I heard the faint ticking at the base of my skull. I stared at the woman, Natalie, in horror. I knew I wasn't messing anybody's life up, man. I was helping find missing people.
Yeah, but Logan realised you got close.
Fuck no. I am not who that psychopath says I am, she screamed. I held up my hands, trying not to exaggerate.
So that's why he's not. That's why he got kidnapped. It's because he was getting too close to what happened to the detective from Jigsaw, and Logan kidnapped him.
Natalie looked at me, her eyes tearing up. I'm not a bad person. It's just my job. I'm a fucking tabloid columnist. I steadied my breathing, realizing we were losing precious seconds on the minute.
Because it's a copycat, it's someone else.
Natalie,
or someone.
I help find missing people. That's what I do.
Different, I guess.
Sometimes I have to dig
Like, it
up
makes
there
sense
too.
that the games are a little bit more amateur, I guess.
You can help
in terms
save
of
me.
like how
So
they
I'm
were
not one of those
picked.
people that go missing. I know it will hurt. Fuck, I know. But you have to do this, or we're both.
You have to push your face forward into the knives.
Please.
It's going to be painful,
get us
but
out.
go. How do they have 3 minutes? Yeah, I don't know
I'm trying to
why
talk
he's
into
getting
this listening
titles and subtitles like
Down to the
this
wire here. I could just feel
compared
the
to
trap
everyone
around my head
else.
springing to kill mode. That was when Natalie reached out for my hand and I grasped it. With a look of fiery determination, she grabbed the lever on her apparatus. Okay. He says I have to do it until it releases? I nod vigorously. Yeah. Come on. You can do it. I watched Natalie
It's going to
crank the
hurt a
lever.
lot.
It's
gonna hurt a lot.
As the blades shifted inward into her face, cutting her
Oh.
forehead, her cheek, and her chin.
Ooh, I didn't realise they were going to go the other way.
Dripped down from her face and onto my arm. I squeezed her hand, praying as the ticking got louder. She began screaming as the blades cut her flesh as she slowly cranked the lever. When the ticking got the loudest, I heard a loud snap. Felt we both were goners. That's when I felt the device collapse off my head and topple onto the ground. Natalie nearly collapsed to the floor as hers whirled loudly and fell off to the ground too. I saw the door
Yeah,
triggered
but
simultaneously, snapping as it hit the ground like vicious creatures. I almost threw up thinking about how that would have been our head turned into tomato pulp.
yeah, that's enough for that one.
Alright, so
Oh, okay, the aspect ratio's changed.
I was asked to put this documentary together regarding potential victims of the Jigsaw killer. However,
Okay.
it is open to discussion that some of these killings, traps and all that were put together by a copycat killer or killers. I should also state my name's
Yep.
Colin Breachwell. I was asked to work on this project, he helped me, by the director himself. I'm also a newspaper columnist who also works for various news companies.
Oh, hey, it's the same editing program I use.
Basically, I get, most of the time I get early scoops or leaks, and the rest sorts itself out. Don't even ask me how I get the leaks, it's very, very fucking disturbing. So anyway, about a month or two back, I was asked to get a hold of Michael Price, one of the victims that he helped me. So, I sent him the list of questions and like some details if he wanted to discuss.
Oh, yeah,
things
Michael
like
Price
that.
was the one we
He
just
sent
saw.
most of them. We just continued back and forth through email or call, just like run
Did he
down
just
the
go?
questions and all that for his segment. And his last segment he sent just ended abruptly, and I've not heard from him since. Anyway, over the last few weeks, I've tried getting into contact with him via calls, texts, emails, and that's actually pretty much it. WhatsApp, but no one ever uses it anymore. I've
Oh,
also
no,
added
what
in the
happened?
segment here because he just hasn't gotten back to me. I just hope he really does soon.
No, aspect ratio's changed again. After almost a month, Michael Price sent in new footage of his tape regarding his test. So what happened? However, the footage was delivered internationally via USB, directly delivered to the editor's address. So what happened?
I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this.
Are you getting tracked down again?
Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down.
Are you getting tracked down again? Or are you now one of the copycats? Because remember in Saw Heretics, one of the characters in it was a Jigsaw accomplice or copycat. So has it happened to him?
I'm sorry. You guys are you're having me relive a game-changing event of my life, and
I like the glass. I want that glass.
just having to relive it and talk about it. It's alright. I knew what I was getting myself into when I agreed
But it's still going to have an emotional
to tell
toll on you.
guys, to tell you about my experience. So, rip the band-aid off, Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. I carried Natalie out of that room and up these dark stairs that led out of a dilapidated cabin. We were in the woods, somewhere. After walking a winding trail for at least 10 minutes, we were found by a couple of hikers, and they hurried us to the nearest ranger station. We were airlifted to the nearest hospital. police would question me extensively. They would ask me who, what, where, how, and why. I didn't have any answers unless it was about that eerie message that was on the tapes or the traps. They did, however, find this diabolical torture room in that cabin, but all they found was the mangled remains of our traps, and that was it. I kept thinking, Halloran must have been behind this, but then that familiar skepticism kept creeping up once more. It didn't make any sense. Back at the station, I did a little bit more digging into Natalie. She really was a bad apple as tabloid Spencers go, having done numerous of columns from affairs to suicide. Some of it was pretty stomach-churning stuff. She was poisonous, all right. And yet I still felt for her. She was at the hospital, her literary sins paid with blood. I guess I took solace in the fact that she saved my life by confronting her guilt.
Yeah, because you didn't know what she did beforehand. You just knew her as a person in that moment.
After what felt like hours at the station, I was finally let go. But on my way out, I ended up bumping into this guy wearing scrubs and looked like he was in a hurry. For 1 second, I thought he was about to chew me out, but then he looked at me and his face relaxed a bit. He said, "Hey man, it's been a long night." I said, "Yeah, tell me about it." He eyed me curiously. He said, "Well, hey man, you get out of here. Nothing but madness of here. Have a good night."
You bumped into Logan.
Before I could say anything, he hurried to his room, talking to some
Yeah, how did he know your name?
Scrubs.
Hey, that was Emily, right?
I've never met that man before in my entire life.
Yeah, how did he know your
He
name?
knew my name.
Yeah, that was
I
Logan.
went to the clerk, and she said that was Logan. He was a medical examiner.
Yeah, there we go.
Of course. He must have been looking at all the Jigsaw-related bodies at the...
Are you going to put 2 and 2 together?
Well, that's my story. My name is
No.
Michael Price, and I'm a Jigsaw survivor. Well, sort of. I guess I'll just leave you with this. Jigsaw is more than a man, ladies and gentlemen. He's an idea now, a legacy. Now, I don't know if it's Halloran that's the new executioner carrying out his will or if it's someone else. But Jigsaw,
No, you bumped into
what he
him.
stood for, is alive and well. Participating in this film, I'm amazed to hear how much of an effect that he had on people. And I'm surprised to hear that some people even thank him for their life-changing experiences. I guess I'm still in shock of it, even this far removed. To some of my experiences, I take a lot more sleep medicines. That's for sure.
Tommy.
There's one thing that never left my mind, however. Jigsaw called me innocent. While he put me in a terrifying situation, there was a reason. Maybe, just maybe, Natalie saving both of us wasn't. That bad people can save the innocent if they wanted to. Damn. No wonder you guys call this He Helped Me. I guess in his own sick way, he does.
No, to be fair though, Natalie and you didn't have a choice. Natalie was helping you because you would both had died. Since the completion of this documentary, Michael Price has gone missing. Ah! I thought that might have been the case. He was last seen leaving his apartment in the evening of August 13th, 2018. As of October 2018, there has been over 40 confirmed cases relating to the work of John Kramer in the US alone. There have also been reports of games taking place overseas. Oh! So are these what the other fan films can do? Jigsaw Rules still remains open on the dark web after many attempts to get it down. Hey, Spiral! More survivors are coming forward with their story, retelling the events of their test. Survivors claim the games or tests to be psychotic, demented, insane pieces of work. However, there are some who don't think so. Some survivors claim the experience to be a form of rehabilitation, which I'm guessing some also claim to feel grateful to be alive after their experience. Yeah, I'm guessing rehabilitation is the next one from what I remember. Surprisingly, the survivors that claim to feel grateful all say the same phrase after telling their story. Yep, those 3 words. He helped me. So, because I did the timeline earlier, and I think rehabilitation is the next one. I'll have another look at that again. Hey! Oh! It was really good. I have a few issues with it, but we'll talk about that in a minute. That was He Helped Me. There's a few things that I want to talk about with this. So, I like that it looks like sort of a crime investigation type documentary. I think that's really, really cool. And I like that these sort of fan films take stuff from the source material and then expand upon them. Because obviously with the Jigsaw games and everything, it was like, okay, that makes sense that multiple games are going to be happening at the same time as the one in the films. So it makes sense that this could still be canon if it really wanted to be. Even though I know this is a fan film, I know it's not canon and it's a work of like fan art, I still like the idea that this could potentially still fit in that canon timeline and still work. Because, again, multiple Jigsaw games are happening all the time, and especially at the end, it starts going into stuff from Spiral. And that was definitely a copycat. I like that it did mention Jigsaw, so the film before Spiral. Because I didn't think it was going to, because it spent so long, like, not forgetting it, but just not mentioning it. And then at the end, with Michael's video, they did bring it up. Let's go through the 4 survivors. So, the first one was Dr. Stolberg, Alexander Stolberg. Firstly, if you don't understand why I smiled at the surname, Stolberg, Josh Stolberg is I think he was the writer for Jigsaw and Spiral, off the top of my head. So I like that there was the reference there. So here's one. It sounded like a mixture of Saw 6 with the carousel trap, and William had to put his hand into that device and the things clamped down on his fingers. Like, that sounded very, very similar to that. And the carousel trap is my favourite one in Saw 6. The whole idea of him being unfaithful with his wife was very much sort of Dr. Gordon from Saw 1. Then the idea that he had to save other people within his trap, again, is very sort of Saw 6. I do like as well, just in general, that there were accounts from people who were like, yes, Jigsaw's a genius and everything and blah blah blah. But then there's going to be others like Joel and Michael who are like, what, seriously? No, he's a killer. Like, I hate him. Like, I didn't learn anything from that experience. What was the point? So I do like that they had an equal amount of people. So Alexander and Catherine were grateful for the games. And then you had, obviously, Joel and Michael who were like, no, I shouldn't have been in here. or not the fact of I shouldn't have been in here, because Joel was definitely like, I get it, but it was more of a case of, no, what am I supposed to learn from this? Which again echoes one of the survivors from Saw 6, where she was, I think she was a loan shark. It was in the opening chapter of Saw 6, and she was like, what the hell am I supposed to learn from this? Like, what was the point? So I do like that there were equal amount of survivors who both were grateful and who weren't. Because I think that's what's really interesting, and actually the ones who are grateful for it are the ones I find most interesting. So like Amanda, I'm sure there were some others, I can't remember off the top of my head though. I do apologise, it's been a while since I've watched the Saw films, but I always find those accounts more interesting than the ones who are like, no, I hate him, because it's like, well, that's the obvious response that you should have to this and to being in a jigsaw trap. But the ones who are like, no, actually, this was not therapeutic, but like rehabilitating for me, they're the ones I find most interesting, because you're a bit like, wait, really? What? So I think it's really interesting that they had an equal amount of people who were grateful and not grateful for it. The one at the end, so Michael Price was the private investigator, and what I found interesting is I think you got the most amount of information from him, and he was the one that basically detailed the ending of Jigsaw. So he was following the Jigsaw case, and then the detective, I can't remember his name, Holiday, I can't remember his name. But he was following his case, and then suddenly he's like, oh, he disappeared. And I was like, yep, because that's what happened at the end of the Jigsaw. He got his head split and octopus, and like split in like a chocolate orange. And then I like that it continues on from there, because obviously things would continue. So after Jigsaw, it was like, yeah, Logan will just continue going on. So I do like that he did a video, I think they said it was a month later, sort of saying, this is what happened, this was the aftermath of my test and going into hospital and stuff like that. And I like that he put together the aftermath of what happens after the game, because it's not really something that you saw. You sort of saw them survive the game or not survive it, and that was it. And you rarely saw the survivors actually in the hospital. Again, aside from the Saw 6 survivor from the opening scene. That's kind of it. And I guess Saw 7 with the survivors club thing. But I like he was like, oh, I bumped into a guy in scrubs. And literally I was like, it's Logan! You literally bumped into the guy who kidnapped you. Which also brings me on to my point, like, he was kidnapped because he got too close. He got too close to what was going on. And Logan was the one who kidnapped him. Like, that was why he was put into the trap. That was why he was put into the test. The whole thing about him saying, oh, like, bad guys will sometimes help the innocent if they really want to. That's a little... I was like, yeah, okay, I get you're trying to be profound, but look at the situation. You literally said that both of your traps were connected to each other, and Natalie had to undo her trap to get him out. Otherwise, they both die. So it's like, actually, she didn't really have much of a choice. So I thought that was I got what they were going for, but I thought that was a little weird given the context of their traps. Because I was like, well, actually, she didn't have much of a choice. It was either she got you out as well as her, or you both die. And that's it. That's what I got from those traps anyway. So I thought that was a little odd, but I got what they were going for with this. Yeah, I like that it was filmed like a crime investigation documentary. That was really, really cool, and I think that's the best way to go for what this film was doing. And even at the end, when the director of this documentary puts in another segment and you see him editing it, I was like, okay, I get why you're putting that in there. I think that's really interesting. Like, you're calling out to Michael, who hasn't been seen for a month. And I originally thought, oh, he's been kidnapped again. That's what I originally thought it was going. But it didn't. But I liked that that was in there. Unfortunately, the problem I have with this fan film, and Christos, I do apologise again, I'm really sorry, but it's the exact same problem I had with Saw Heritage. The sound mix, for the most part, the sound mix is really good. But especially with Catherine and Joel's accounts, I couldn't really hear what they were saying. Unfortunately, the music was too loud, and I'm not really sure. Unfortunately, there's not really much I can do with editing this, unfortunately. Catherine's one, I couldn't hear her at all. I don't know what her trap was. I got that it was in our old house, and there was gas filling the house that was originally, the lethal gas was from her house. Jigsaw's one was non-lethal, but I don't really know what that trap was, just because I couldn't hear what she was saying, because the score was a bit too loud and it kind of overshadowed her voice. Joel, I could kind of understand, but I did have to concentrate quite a lot to understand him, but I got kind of what he was going for. What he was saying, sorry. I mean, overall, I really enjoyed this. I think it's really, really, a really interesting direction for the fan films to go in. And it's also one that makes sense in the context of the Saw franchise. However, I do also think that it does have the same problem as Saw Heritage, which is really unfortunate. Because again, I do really enjoy this. Again, this kind of opens up some really interesting ideas that the Saw franchise can do. I do want to react to the other fan films, because I think that would be really cool to do so as well. Especially when they're all involved in this same universe. I think that would be really interesting to see what the other fan films do as well. But yeah, the sound mix is a bit of an issue, unfortunately. And in terms of editing, there isn't going to be a lot I'm going to be able to do to fix that, so I do apologise in advance if you guys can't hear some of it as well. However, if you're a Saw fan, I do still say watch this, because I think it is really interesting, and again, it kind of opens up more possibilities of where the franchise could have gone. So I do still appreciate this. I am grateful for this fan film. And it's the same as Saw Heritage. Like, even though I found the sound mix a bit problematic for that film, I am still glad I watched it. I think it's a really cool idea, and it's the same with this. So I would still say, if you're a Saw fan, please go watch this, please support it. And I might have the picture of the timeline as the intro clip, as the intro like background, so then you guys know as well what the other films are, so you can go off and support them. But I will leave a link to this film and Saw Heritage in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye!